Animal rescuers say it's one of the worst cases they've seen. 9 dogs abandoned, living in their own filth for weeks. Our Emily Harrison met up with their rescuers at Haven, who say the conditions were unlivable.
When rescuers first walked inside, they weren't even sure how many dogs were in the trailer. The trash was so high, they had to climb over it to find the 9 dogs hiding in their own feces. Rescuers say abandonment like this is an ongoing issue, but called this case a nightmare.
The conditions were atrocious. Probably the worst thing I've ever seen as far as living conditions go.
Trash on piles of trash. That's where 9 dogs lived, with feces and cockroaches covered on top of them.
Just the filth that these dogs had to endure. You know, no air, no sunlight, no socialization. They just lived in this dark place.
Saving Grace Pitbull Rescue got the call from a neighbor who believed it had been abandoned but had no idea how bad the conditions were.
The neighbor, Randy, and I looked at each other and I said, we have to get these dogs out today. They can't stay here any longer. I've seen dogs, you know, that are thin or hurt, and those affect you in different ways, but just to see their living conditions and the smell was just really overwhelming.
The dogs were packed up and brought over to Haven Animal Care Shelter, and even though they are not physically hurt, Dr. Wilbank says there is a lot of trauma.
They are sweet, they're beautiful dogs, they are scared, and when animals are scared, they're a little bit difficult to deal with. They need a lot of socialization, but looking at the pictures of where they came from, it was one of the worst that I've seen.
As disturbing as this case is, both shelters say this is not unusual. Half of their calls are usually centered on abandoned or dumped dogs, and seeing it over and over makes them feel helpless.
You know, you can't find the answer to why somebody would do this to a pet, and so those questions are just hard to answer because you don't have the answer. You can't find the answer. There is not an explanation that you're going to receive. It's just extremely sad.
Saving Grace Pitbull Rescue and Haven Animal Care Shelter are both at their capacity, but say they can't turn these dogs away. That's why they're asking for foster families to please come forward to give these dogs the care they deserve. For more information